our previous session, but what was some of your favorite memories or experiences with the last group of men that we ascended?
You know, I every time we assemble, we have a cipher called Seed the Report, because we give out exercises that once we cipher up and charge each other and use the Rites, the energy centers, to encourage each other, we have tasks that we give. And then when we huddle back up, we report on the task, on the sustains of those tasks, or the, how we need to improve on those tasks. So I've always looked forward to hearing the brothers report on what they were able to accomplish personally for themselves, and what they were willing to transparently share that they needed work and support on. The Man Heal Thyself is a non-judgmental zone. We don't judge brothers, and we don't, based upon them, maybe lacking certain type of disciplines in the onset. We're more of an encouraging ciphering to keep brothers accountable to their own word to themselves. There's a practice that we have called affirmation confirmation. So that's one of the initial exercises. When you come into the training, you will be deemed with the responsibility to channel a personal power affirmation for yourself. And you share, so we give it an online assignment right then and there. You share it with your brothers so we can bear witness that what you affirm unto yourself. And then over the next 7 days, you have to make a commitment daily to at least have 5 minutes where every day you affirm and confirm yourself. By doing that exercise and repetition, it's a psychological, cognitive exercise of one valuing himself to himself. That means you're not looking for external validation. You are the barometer, for which you gauge your own value. And the more you do that daily, the more your confidence is built up. Not necessarily your ego, but your internal confidence and your love for yourself. One of the interesting things about that is that when I would hear brothers say that they didn't do it that week, so then I would humbly ask them, well, what were you able to do in that time that you did not do your confirmation to yourself? And they told me, oh yeah, I had to do this for my kids, my wife, and all this other stuff. And then I say to them more calmly, all it takes you less than 5 minutes just to affirm yourself with the holy word that came through yourself. So you mean to tell me, out of 24 hours in a day, right, before you go to bed or even when you first rise, you can't take less than 5 minutes to affirm yourself with an affirmation that you channeled for yourself to empower you to show up for yourself and others in your day? See, so these are the type of cognitive exercises that brothers go through every week for 12 weeks, because something simple as that going unchecked is why brothers are not necessarily exalted at their highest God level.
Right.
And so we follow the white rabbit for our women to exalt us to the high level, society. But our women in society will always fail us. You know why? Because they are only calibrated to honor what we honor. It's not our women's responsibility or society's responsibility to dial into us daily. It is our responsibility.
Right.
To dial into ourselves emotionally, mentally, and spiritually every day. And by doing that, we will signal such an alpha power resonance where our women will be magnetically drawn to add to that. Society will be drawn to add on. So Man Heal Thyself is about helping brothers to establish his power core, build up his signal power in himself with no means of outside validation. Only outside confirmation to his affirmation.
Right.
So you're building you up for you, period. If your woman comes and builds on you, ashe. If the society builds on you, ashe. If they come or don't come, you are still godly anointed, ashe.
That's it.
And that's what Man Heal Thyself is about. Building our brothers to their highest hetep, ashe, salam, and shalom.
Ashe it. All of that. It's interesting as you were just explaining it that way. It's always the simple things, and it made me think of an example of like, we need to eat every day. I don't expect my wife, my children, or my neighbors to come over and spoon feed me what I need to eat and be like, oh, you're not eating? You got to eat this. I got to feed me.
Come on.
I have to feed me. So what we do with these affirmations is we feed our souls, we feed our spirits, we feed our minds, we feed our energy centers. And Nova, you say it all the time, but it's one of those simple things. It's a lot of it is simple tasks that have profound effects.
Well, because the smallest things make matter or matters. It's the nuances. We look for these big grand motions and these grand things that happen, but all the grandeur is an accumulation of small things, small details. So if you focus not on the grandeur but the details and the small steps, that's really where you get the growth and development, is the small steps and the accountability checks.
Right.
So it's not necessarily that you have to be in perfection all the time. It's about you set a goal, and whether you accomplish it or go past it, every day you dialing on fine-tuning what that may look like for you.
Right.
And so when somebody may on the onlook and go, oh, that all they're doing is affirmations. Well, if that's all you're saying, then you just missed it, because that's to affirm yourself is life. The sperm had to affirm itself in the egg to make the mother pregnant. Out of millions of sperms going to the egg, whichever one affirmed and confirmed itself, that was life.
Right.
So if you're thinking that an affirmation is just whatever, well, then you are a result of whatever. See, we're not a result of whatever. We are the ever that makes what make manifest.
Love that.
So we about affirming and confirming ourselves and ourselves daily. What does that mean? What I feed my mind, my holistic foods and waters and herbs are a support of what my mind residence and cognizance is resonating on. So I'm drinking with purpose. I'm making my teas with purpose. I have mindful speech, mindful communication. All of these affirming and confirmations daily strengthen me over time, so that I may show up for myself as my highest and wisest. And then that honoring, I will show up for my women, my children, and my work in the world as my highest and wisest. Man has taken the step of affirming everything but himself. And he dies with a broken heart, dies as an alcoholic, dies of a heart attack, dies of just loneliness, even though he has everybody around him. How many men feel lonely even if you have all the money and the women? You still feel lonely. How many brothers, got millions of dollars? A lot of brothers I know about money and they still feel lonely. How many brothers got all the accolades and the degrees and still feel like they're not getting there? How many men feel like they sacrifice it every day for their friends and family and they still don't feel appreciated? Because we have to establish the internal core. We have to give brothers the tools to dial into himself. And this is non-denominational. It doesn't matter if you're Muslim, Christian, a Hebrew Jew, or a Kemite. You need to dial in with the principles of yourself in yourselves daily to strengthen you over time, so that you can be a better quality of self-service and then service to others. So you must come first so that you can bring a quality to others. You can't put everything before you, because it's not your quality is becoming dull, and then they use you up and spit you out. So you must take a tactical pause, work on having a better emotional body, mental body, and spiritual body, and whatever that looks like for you, and be humble with that process on every day and work towards that. And then it feels so glorious to be around other brothers that are excited about doing the work.
Well, that was one of the things for me when we went through the last session, watching these brothers at week 1. And then when we get to week 7 and we had our first real-time deployment, brothers, we don't have session for a week. We'll see how you do in the real world. And then having them come back, and then week 9, week 12, and seeing this change in these men and how they speak and how they move through the world, and that they felt it. How hearing them say, oh, my wife caught me when I was at my altar this morning, and she looked at me and she said, I've never been more in love with you in my life. How my children look at me and say, Dad, you're Superman. You can do everything. How my coworkers and my employees looking at me like, you're different. What's going on? It's this, and this is just 12 weeks. and this is just the beginning of the rest of their lives. But to watch the transformation happen from the inside, and to and the honor of being a part of that, by being a part of this group, by being a part of this fraternity of wellness, to see other brothers do it around you, and then have them tell you, oh brother, I've seen your change too. Because sometimes we can't see it in ourselves, and sometimes we were just doing the work and we're like, is this working, is this happening, and we're focusing on the misses. But we need to be reminded of, yeah, but what about your maintains, what about your makes? And seeing these brothers come together to support each other as they've grown, and all of a sudden it's like, I can't imagine doing a vegan diet, or I can't imagine this. And then you got brothers doing 21-day fast by the end of the 12 weeks, being like, oh yeah, okay, let's try that. So this whole shift in perspective, and we say it again, we say wellness warriors because Nova says we fight. You have to do this every day. You have to fight every day. And some days you're gonna win, and some days you won't. But as long as you're fighting, you're victorious. And that's the key. That's and these are the tools. And they're simple tools, as most tools are and should be, because it's not supposed to be rocket science. You don't have to go sit on top of a mountain. You don't have to just take 5 minutes, affirm yourself, make sure you're speaking with intention, make sure you're ingesting with intention, and then see what happens. So that's what we're asking these brothers out there. Find out what happens. Come join us. Join this fraternity of wellness. QueenAfua.com. Man Heal Thyself tab. Join us, because we're waiting for you. We're here. We're doing the work. We'll have a place. We'll have a place for you when you're ready. Sisters, if you know brothers who are ready, send them our way, because that's what we're here for. This is something that is sorely needed at a time like this. Everyone can recognize that. The men who may be out in the streets and down with the crew and the center of attention, but on the inside, they know that they're missing something, and this may be what that is for them. So, ooh.
Wellness Warrior salute. Welcome. We welcome you all.
Wellness Warrior salute. We will be here doing this again, but just so you all know, the session starts. We have an orientation this Sunday, but we will be opening registration all the way up and through until next Saturday. So please, each one teach one, reach one, and greet one. If you sisters, you know a brother who fits this, and you think that they could use this support, this fraternity, this training in their lives, queenafua.com. Brothers, if any part of what we've said speaks to you, if at any point you felt ooh, that's interesting, that's exciting, that sounds like me, queenafua.com, Man Heal Thyself tab. Join us. We're here, and it's real, and it's happening. So it's only just gonna get bigger. Might as well join us now. Yeah. So Wellness Warrior salute. SupaNova, thank you. King, I'll see you soon.
Yes.
For everyone who's watching so far, and those who will be watching, thank you very much for your time and energy. We appreciate you. Ashe to you all. And yeah, indeed.
Wellness salute.
Wellness salute.